This tutorial is to help with the retirement project. This is about Lee. He is, and you'll notice my numbers are different from yours, as I would like you to understand the process and not just the numbers, or try to type in the numbers but know how to calculate. So the first thing is Lee is 22 and he wants to retire at 65 with a retirement fund from which he can draw an interest income of $175,000 a year. He assumes he will have an average rate of return of 5.8%, and he wants to know how much he needs to save each month to reach his goal and how inflation will affect his retirement savings. In order to earn $175,000 per year in interest, the balance of Lee's retirement account must be large enough that 5.8% of the balance is $175,000. And that is a key phrase right there as we move into our calculations. The first thing we need to do are to identify some key variables and assumptions. The key variables are the things that will affect the cost of what could change, like interest rate, his rate of return, and so forth. The key assumptions are that his rate of return stays the same at 5.8%. We assume that he will also be able to make these payments for this withdrawal. We also assume that he will be making the same monthly payment every time, and that he can afford that. Okay, and I'm not going to go into too much of those. I'd like you guys to discuss that as your group. Over here we have Lee finds a 401k retirement account with a 5.8% rate of return compounded monthly. After retirement, he wants to live off the interest from this account. Translate the following sentence into mathematics and use the resulting equation to find the balance Lee needs to have in his account. This right here is the key to actually finding out how much he needs to save so that he can withdraw that. And so it's just a matter of translating from this English sentence into mathematical symbols. The first thing I want to do is change my percent. I could type in 5.8%, but I'm going to go ahead and change it to 0.058 so that I've moved my decimal. Now here is the key word of. When I translate of from English into math, that means multiply of the balance. Well, we don't know what that is, so we're going to have to figure out something. We can put in a letter. We can, because we're just making an equation, we could even type in balance, his final balance that I need to know what he's going to be trying to attain in his retirement plan. Is right here translates to the word or to the mathematical symbol equals $175,000. So to solve for this balance, I need to divide both sides by 0.058, and that will tell me what the final balance is that I'm looking for Lee. So I'm going to come down here. Oh. And can I not sure how to move anywhere. Hold on while I do some formatting here. Okay, I figured it out. We need to press Alt and Enter to go down a line. So that's a helpful tip for you all. The next thing is I want to solve, so I'm going to divide both of these sides by 0.058. And so to do that, I'm just going to copy this, Control C, and paste Control V, and show that I'm dividing both sides by 0.058. And this side divide by 0.058. On the left hand side, Alt Enter. On the left hand side, everything cancels out and I'm just left with the balance, and that equals 175,123 divided by 0.058, and I can do that as a calculation out here. So I'm just going to copy, Control C, and then come over here and press Control V to paste, and it will give me my total. And so I'm just going to copy this number, Control C, and come over in here, Alt Enter, Control V. Will it let me paste special? Nope. Okay, so we'll just type that in. 3017241. We can do 38, or we can leave it, and that tells me that he needs to earn $3,017,241 so that he can withdraw $175 per year from this account that's just his retirement fund. Okay, so now we know we are looking towards being a $3 millionaire in his retirement, and we need to figure out how much he needs to put into this 401k so that he can, at the end of his retirement, or when he decides to retire, that he can start withdrawing his $175 every year. So we're looking for a payment, and it even tells us over here, and it goes through all of the information for his 401k retirement with a 5.8 rate of return, compounded monthly. He uses the payment function in Excel. So we're going to type in PMT, and we're looking at the rate of 5.8%. So again, we're going to change that to the decimal, 0.058, and always divide by N. In this case, it's a monthly payment, so it's 12, and comma. The number of periods will be 12 months a year for how many years? And we haven't figured that out yet. So, I'm going to have to come back to this. So I'm going to erase the equal sign for just a moment and come back after I find out how many years it's going to be for him to retire. I can do that over here really quickly and do 65 minus, he is 22 right now, which means I have 43 years for him before he retires. And that's another key assumption as well, just as a hint. So we're going to come back in here and we are going to type in 43, and then we can continue. Sorry, just double checking I put that in right. Then put my equal sign back in there. Okay, so 12 months for 43 years. 43 years, 12 months for each of those 43 years. The present value, Lee has not made any contributions yet, so the present value is 0. His future value, however, we just found as $3,017,241. And I'm going to go ahead and just keep it as that. I'm not going to add in the cents. Typically, I am very adamant. Oh, you know what? We have a cell. I'm going to go ahead and do the easy route, and I'm going to cell reference. So I don't even have to type anything, and that prevents any of my typos because there's a lot of numbers in there that I could make a mistake with. And because I am dealing with making an investment towards myself, yes, it is going away from me right now, which is why it's calculating as negative. I could fix that by just putting a negative out in front because I'm going to be working with making these payments. So I'm okay with just making that a positive, which means he needs to make monthly deposits of $1,321 every month until he retires in 43 years. Okay, we're going to continue with number 3, which is finding his buying power. The buying power formula was given to us here, which is really nice. And they've given us some information that the rate of inflation is 3%. And so the first thing we're going to do is, we could even copy that. No, let's not copy it. We'll just type it in. So we have our buying power, and that is equaling his the amount that he wants to withdraw every month, which is $175,000, and this is divided by 1 plus the rate of inflation, which was given to us as 3%. We'll change that to the decimal of 0.03, and then raise this with a caret to the number of years. And we just found that, which was 43, which is 65 minus his 22 years. Okay, so I can then put this into Excel. I'm just going to copy this, and we're going to use a cell out here, not in the text box, to calculate that. I'm going to press Control V, and it calculates it for me. So now I know that his buying power, we'll come over here and press Alt Enter, is $49,095, and we can round it to the nearest cent if we'd like, although That's probably not a necessity, but we'll be accurate. So his $175,000 in today's money in about 65 or in 43 years will only be the equivalent of what today's money is like, of 49,000 per year. And so if you would like to discuss that down here and talk about how this is going to affect his retirement. Then we'll come over here to number 4, and it says, is it, I think that's a typo. I think it should be, is his monthly, or is the monthly payment an attainable amount? His $1,321. So is that really reasonable? Probably not, especially when he's just getting out of college. It might increase as he gets older and he might have some more equity and less responsibilities, and maybe even getting raises. So is it attainable? Probably not right now, as soon as he graduates. So that's something to take into account. Is the buying power of $175,000 enough money that Lee can live comfortably after he retires? So down here with his $49,000, we're going to probably assume that when he retires, his house is paid off and everything else is, his kids are grown and so forth. So yeah, he could probably do pretty well. And how much should Lee save each month? So again, we'll go back over here that he should save about $1,300, but again, that could be kind of flexible with his current finances and responsibilities. But if he can make that, that would be great. The next one, number 5, evaluate Lee's reasoning process, and do you see any flaws in his thinking or considerations he has overlooked? And I'm going to let you as a group work through that one. I think I've given you enough to kind of get you going and help work things out. Good luck on your project.